The following segment is sponsored by Carr and Carr. A drug called Elmiron is creating eyesight risks in patients. So what should you do, or someone you know do, if they're taking that drug? The experts at Carr and Carr have the answer to that question. And we welcome via Skype attorney Patrick Carr. Hi, Pat. How are you doing today?
Well, hi, Aaron. It's good to be with you today. So hopefully it's going to be a beautiful day out there.
Yeah, looks like it, especially temperature-wise. So first of all, tell me what Elmiron is exactly.
Well, Elmiron is a prescription drug that's used for a condition called painful bladder syndrome. And that's where you have something like a really bad bladder infection, but without the infection. You have the urgency to go. You have to go many, many more times than you typically would. There's pain in the pelvic area. There's pain with intimacy. It's just all around a pretty miserable condition, and it's chronic, and it tends to be permanent also. So Elmiron is a prescription drug taken for that. It's been around since about 1996, and many, many people have taken it. However, recently it's been linked with some very serious eye conditions, generally called pigmental maculopathy. And this leads to some serious problems with eyesight, which also can be very permanent.
Sounds like you're trading one problem for another, but these risks could be pretty great when you're talking about your eyes.
Well, that's true. And the thing is, with the pigmentary maculopathy, you can have symptoms like you see a dark spot in the center of your eye, which is a kind of a big spot where it's just black. You can see lines which can be straight, but now they're wavy and they're wiggly. You can have loss of your ability to adapt to dark, trouble seeing vivid colors. So just a range of things like this. And it tends to affect mainly more women than it does men. In fact, of the documented cases so far, about 90% of them are women, and they tend to be in the age range from about 40 to 55. And so if you feel like you've got vision changes like that, and you've had this painful bladder syndrome, and you've been taking Elmiron, then it'd be a really good idea to see your urologist, see your PCP, and see an ophthalmologist to check and see if you have the conditions that are linked to Elmiron. Now, the thing about it is that the warning about Elmiron only came out in June of this year. So many doctors may not yet be aware of the conditions that Elmiron can cause, because before that, the company didn't bother to warn anybody. And so although Canada got their warning last year and some countries in Europe got their warning last year, it didn't happen here in the United States until just last month. So your doctors might not be aware of it. So you might want to let them know if you're having these visual related conditions. Now, sometimes they can be confused with the kind of vision you have when you're an older person, kind of like age-related conditions. But no, when you're younger and you have these things, you can be checked, and doctors using the right kinds of tests can see if the problem you're having is linked to Elmiron.
Are you, as an attorney, suggesting if people are having some pretty severe chronic problems with it, to give you a call as well?
Well, I think that if you do have these kinds of problems, you can possibly seek compensation from the companies, because there's a law which requires companies to give timely warnings. And in this case, it appears that did not happen. And if that's the case, then you may be entitled to damages for the conditions happen. So I recommend, if that does seem to be the case with you, that you call a lawyer you trust, lawyers you know who are working in this type of a case, and see if you qualify for a claim or a settlement later down the line. So that would be a good idea, yes.
All right, I appreciate you coming on to talk to us about this. Have a good day. Carr and Carr, attorneys at law, 918-747-1000, carrcarr.com.